5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
We. Episode 88. Is it 88? I think so. Podcast a day. And it's daytime for once. Crazy. And I'm in a different location. If you care to look at the audio. And why do I say we? I'm not talking about urine. Look at what I'm wearing, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy has entered on Francais. Marseille, I'm inside of you. I'm in Marseille right now. I'm in a flat which is shared by someone else who isn't here, as far as I'm aware, unless they're hiding in sort of one of the fridges or cupboards. That would be pretty strange. I'd find that odd. That'd be a weird first impression. But hey, as far as I'm aware, no one else is here, and I'm taking that privilege and that opportunity, and I'm seizing it to do this. I should probably be exploring a little bit, looking around. I pretty much just got here. Got the flight this morning, man. I mean, we can talk about Marseille a bit. We'll also just talk in general, as we usually do, about sort of average news of the world. But yeah, I'm going to be here for the next 3 weeks. So this will be the location from now on. It might be varying times. I think I'm going to find it awkward doing this. I find it's awkward doing this enough as it is, let alone with complete new people I've never met before, sort of just hearing me. But yeah, I can't stop the streak. I've got to keep it alive. Obviously, we got the one up yesterday. Got the flight today. And yeah, it was all right. There was a bit of a delay once we got on the plane. But I thought the flight was going to be a lot longer than it was. And actually, it flew by. Pardon the pun, though. And I had a window seat, which always helps. Because although aisle, especially because I got legs like a fucking French frog. Another great reference here. Oh, God, that's shooting up my neck. Long legs. So usually, it's like uncomfortable. Like I got a coach somewhere, which was like an hour or 2 hours for work once, and I mean it was less legroom than this plane was, but oh my god, was I dying in pain. But it actually wasn't too bad. I managed to find myself decently comfortable, and I just find looking out the window, I find it fascinating enough being on a plane that I managed to, the time just flies by. Like I find it interesting looking down, being like, wow, we're going over this area. Like it was over the channel in no time, then just down the length of France, and it was great. Also, I didn't know this beforehand, but we're like 5 minutes away from Marseille Stadium. Not that I'm probably going to go see a game. It'll probably be impossible to get a ticket. I'm the type of person where the scenario of me finding myself in a French football club stadium, I don't know why I say it like that, a French football stadium, firstly, not speaking the language. Secondly, not any club, but Marseille, which I think historically is the biggest club in France. I think PSG is more of like the Man City. And Marseille is actually the biggest team here. Some real partisan fans. I'm sure they've got some ultras and stuff. I don't really want to find myself in a stadium alone. That's, I don't do many things alone. I'm independent in my own country. I'll say that. But I'll probably walk around, see if you can walk up to it much, take a photo. I got a camera with me, so I'm gonna be snapping pics, man. And yeah, so that's not too far. Unfortunately, I won't be making any bets for a while because international break, that sucks a penis. But yeah, I guess I'll bet on the England. It's just so fucking boring. England versus Italy, I just don't care for it, man. Just shit, just want things, feel like shit, just want Premier League back. But I think, I still haven't checked, I'm still not sure. There's a Grand Prix next week. But in terms of news, slow news day. It's your boy, News Round, me here to give you the news, to give you the lowdown, and I can confirm slow news day. It's never, you know what? Almost threw up. No, I didn't really, just burped. There's always news when it comes to sports. When it comes to like in general, it's difficult. Like I've said this before, but I listen to Bad Friends a lot now, and yes, they're comedians, so and there's two of them, so they can go back and forth. Well, it's not really just two of them. You got Andrew Santino, you got Bobby Lee, but then you also got Rudy Jules, that's like a third person, and then the producers, you got Fancy B, and you got It Rotates, Pete, George, so, and then sometimes they have guests, so there's a lot of people to bounce ideas off, a lot of funny people, you're gonna have a good time, but also they just find things to talk about. It's hard to find things to talk about, especially mainstream things, because I don't feel like I can just talk about niche stuff like, they found a Chinese baby in Africa who speaks Spanish or something. Like they could find a topic like that and then speak about it and just be funny about it and go on a whole like bit. Whereas I feel like I need to talk about things that are mainstream, because it's just easier in general to comment on things that are mainstream when you haven't got the same chops. But let me stop putting myself down for a second, shall we? You know what? The channel's been doing alright recently. This one's not really something I'm looking to like, actively grow. It's not really like I look at numbers on this. This is more just I want to do it every day. I want to keep that streak alive. I just want to look at the overall growth of the videos for the podcast. You know, one day I'll probably up the ante. I'll up the effort levels on the podcast. Ultimately, all we do editing wise for this is nothing. But, you know, soon I want to add little jingles. I want to do this and that, segments and stuff. And, you know, maybe a little set one day. But hey, what can I say? I'm a big dreamer. In terms of the main channel, that's actually been doing all right. I feel like I found a bit more of my lane now with that kind of stuff. I'm doing more video essay type things, film related. And then the football channel, because obviously, and then the Formula One podcast. But the Formula One podcast, obviously do that weekly. Got an episode for that going up today. Talking about the Grand Prix with Fernando Alonso getting his podium taken and then given straight back to him. And Verstappen and I almost called him Pedro, I don't know why. Perez doing what they're going to be doing all season, which is finishing 1-2. Maybe occasionally a Leclerc in the middle of that. But yeah, football channel, yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm meant to be doing reactions, win, lose or draw, right? But I found myself so triggered after losing to Everton for many reasons. First reason, certain teams I hate losing to more than others, and Everton is one of them. We lost it in the last minute. It's annoying. And I think before I got to a point just before this very short bit of good form we found ourselves in, where we were losing games and I wasn't actually getting mad anymore. I was just kind of like, well, I know the season's done. I expect it, and yep, okay, I'm not longer going to ruin my weekend. But what actually gets you pissed is when you start to do well and then you lose, because we won 3 in a row. This could have been 4 in a row, and then we let it slip in the last second and we get a draw. We're still unbeaten, I guess, in 4, but it was like that annoyed me the most from a football game in a long time, because I've been conditioned. I'm used to losing, and it didn't actually take that long, did it? You know, not so long ago we were champions of Europe and champions of the world. It's crazy. You can be champions of Europe, champions of the world, but one thing you want most is to be champions of England, because that's how hard the Premier League is, and that's what we want. That's what we're striving for, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do the rest of my day. I'm also gonna chill. I want to kind of get used to the space, upload some stuff, probably just go around, watch a few videos, maybe have a nap. But I also want to go on some walks. I want to see what's to do around here, and yeah, I'm not probably gonna go exploring too much until I start working, because I came here to work, but yeah, meet some people, and then maybe I'll find it a little bit easier to just wander around, because I remember someone was talking to me today who let me into the flat, also a flatmate but doesn't live here, stays somewhere else, telling me, oh, do you reckon you'll go Paris while you're here, take a trip to Paris? I was like, surely that's ages away. Yeah, 6 hours on the train. I'm not that sporadic, not the type of guy where I'm just going to jump on a 6-hour train on my own after landing in a new place. Like, I don't travel much. I definitely don't travel much on my own. So, yeah, definitely gonna. Maybe we should take it slow. Who sings that? We're just ordinary people. We're just men. Just normal men. But yeah, God, is there anything to talk? We've only been going 8 minutes. And don't threaten me. I'll stop it here if I feel like I need to. We won't stretch it out to 20 minutes just for the sake of it, guys. So I'm not afraid to do a podcast for 9 minutes. Oh, what's that? It's not a podcast, mate. You're basically just sitting down talking for uncut 9 minutes that you're going to post. Shut up. Who said a podcast has to be an hour and a half? You know, I was looking at Bad Friends podcast and how they've got like 150, and I thought, I'm on 88 now. I'm not actually that far off catching them, but then I realized most podcasts are like 20 minutes. So if you add them all together, I'm still severely behind in terms of actual like timing and stuff. But yeah, man, I don't feel I've got much more to say. I've not seen much been going on around the world. Today's pod is just to say, I'm in Marseille, baby. I'm in Marseille. And Simon says, you know what? I kind of feel like I'm actually very hungry right now. Kind of feel like there's a Lidl right out that window. I know Lidl very. I mean, I guess it's not English either. It's like Swedish or something. Right out that window, kind of feeling like buying a croissant. You know, croissant. But even I'm low key even afraid to go shops, because every single time I've traveled before, I said this earlier, but like getting on a plane or whatever it is, I'm like, it's an out of body experience. I don't retain any of that information. Someone else is doing all of the checking in and stuff, and I'm just there like floating through, and then all of a sudden I'm on the plane and I'm in another country, right? So when I had to do it this time on my own, I'm like, where the fuck am I going? What am I doing? They scan it. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Do I just go through here? And they're like, yeah, fuck off through that, mate. What do you think? I don't know. And similar things here, like when we're abroad and stuff, when we need food and that, I'm just in the shop, I'm just walking around. I don't really know what's happening. And now it's like I'm here alone. It's like I got to buy food to live. And it's just like, it's not going to be difficult. I'm pretty sure I can just use my card, right? It's just that, you know, I just fear the awkward scenarios where someone tries to speak to you in French. I'm just like, oh, non, désolé, je ne parle pas français, because that's all I can say. Sorry, I don't speak French. But I think a lot of people, this is a good thing about other people and the bad thing about us, but a lot of other people, for some reason, seem to learn English just straight away. Like, not even, I was going to say European countries, not even just European countries, because Rudy Jules from the Bad Friends podcast speaks English pretty great, and they just learn it throughout school and stuff. And it's like, almost feels like she speaks it better than her own language sometimes. They ask her for certain words and she's like forgetting a little bit. So it's like, I don't get, and like, it's not that they don't teach us other languages here. Like, I learned French in school for 6 years technically. Now, yeah, a lot of it was early years because it was primary school, so you're like 7, not exactly. But that's the time when your brain is moldable. That's when you should be taking it in. And yet I did it from year 3 to year 6, and then year 7 to year 9. That's 6 years. Didn't really pick up anything. I'm trying to hit the Duolingo a bit more, because I just feel like it's a superpower to be able to speak another language. As close as you can get to a real life superpower, that's what it is. Because realistically, being able to speak another language is like, imagine you could just learn to speak to animals. Because some people say that's, if they could have any superpower, they'd pick speaking to animals, right? I'm not calling the French animals, by the way. What I'm saying is they're a species I can't communicate with, or an Italian or a Spanish person. If they don't speak English, I can't communicate with them. It might as well be an animal, because I can't communicate. The best I can do is wave, hey, oh, bibble, like I would with a dog or a cat or a rabbit, right? But learning that new language, it just, you know, it unlocks something. It is like a superpower, and one I would like to obtain. And they say the best way to learn a language is to surround yourself by it, by people who speak it. Get in that place. So I'm in that place, and I've been doing the Duolingo. I've actually got some French lessons as well on Friday. I'll let you know how it goes, but so far all I really got for you is désolé. I don't know why I'm saying it like in English. Désolé, bonjour, buongiorno, bonjour, s'il vous plaît. You know, that's actually put the French accent on. You know, désolé. You know, je ne parle pas français. You know, salut, ça va? Ça va bien. J'aime les YouTube. J'adore YouTube. Je vis avec ma famille, chat, chien. That's all you get from me. What can I say? Je travaille en français, but je suis de Londres. Sayonara. Salut. Au revoir. I'll see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of a podcast today.
With the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.